Porn Stars and People podcast. I'm Dan Frigolette. I'm here with Rose Isstar.
Hi, how are you
Thank you
doing?
for doing this. Appreciate it. How's it going?
It's good. I'm enjoying my vacation a whole lot.
Yeah, you're in Manhattan on the prettiest day ever. It's just one of these rainy, gross Manhattan days.
I have learned that I miss home a lot. It's definitely not as rainy or cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't had cold yet, so you're lucky. This was like you were here for Exxxotica. This was like a really like chill weekend like it was 60s while you were here. I was telling other people like, well, I'm from this area, but a little bit further north. But so during Halloween, we would have to like wear full snowsuits, and then put our costume over.
That's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like this idea that you go out on Halloween like naked. It's like it happens here, but it's like everybody
bundles up beforehand.
Not even that. They just know that it's gonna be a brutal night.
Oh, that's.
And it's just a lot of people at all the hot clubs. People are just people online, just like bundling together. Yeah. So like it was just part of like life that you knew that like Halloween was when it's freezing. And your costume. So if you can come up with like the more elaborate costume, the better.
Because the warmer you were, you had more more bits and pieces covered.
Right,
but you were still sexy.
So now you can be full Deadpool or full like Iron Man or whatever. I was a knight one year, and it was like this shiny material, and it was like mostly stuffing, and I was like 8, and it's this whole thing. And so just out there, just doing my thing, because I'm covered in this crazy deal. Did you do? Wait, so you got here probably close to Halloween. Did you do a Halloween?
Sort of. I was on cam for Halloween.
Oh, nice.
So I dressed up like a little like geisha girl. I had a stripper outfit. I was supposed to go strip, but I ended up going to the gym instead.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just go on cam. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like, well, I guess it's not as much this as because I don't have much of a strip club attendance record. It's never been like the thing for me. But in like every movie, like all the dudes, it basically like stripping for dudes is Halloween, or at least in the movies. Does that make sense?
That's the beauty about the strip club. There's a girl at my strip club who was Santa in the middle of July.
That's hilarious.
And it's just you're always in costume. It's the one place where you can dress up no matter what time of year. It's the same thing with camming. Like you can be Deadpool at in the middle of August, and people are still for it.
I'm just gonna be a pixie today. I feel like a pixie.
And they're like, yeah, put on that pixie outfit.
Yeah, guys don't care. How long you been doing this thing?
I've been camming since December of 2017, so almost a year.
Nice.
And I've been stripping since I want to say early July of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of this year?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So this is all new stuff.
This is completely new for me.
Oh, very cool. So, I mean, what's your takeaway from a year of camming? Like, what is it? How is it different than what you thought it was going to be? And why are you so, not devoted? Like, you're committed to it now. Like, it's like, I feel like people start and they're like, I don't know, we'll see what happens. And you're in. So, like, now you kind of know the layout.
When I first started, I thought it was going to be a lot more sexual than it was.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, I thought it was going to be super lonely, and I didn't know how to connect with other people that well. And now that I'm almost a year in, I actually quit my real full-time job in August to do this. And it's so beautiful. I'm not just a sexual component of people's lives. I'm their companions. They're my best friends. And they're people that I talk to every day on a regular basis. And it's not a lonely job. Like you would think sitting in your bedroom for, 4 to 6 hours a day, staring at a camera, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible.
Right. No human interaction, right?
Yeah. It's not bad because you still get to talk to these people. They still talk to you. And then things like Exxxotica make you able to meet other models and thank God for social media because you're able to connect with other people who really understand what it's like to do what you do, to understand your hardships, all that stuff. So it's definitely it's a lot more beautiful than I thought it would be.
That's what I thought was cool about all the cam setups at Exxxotica was they're so big and there's so many girls, and it's like it's very clear that this is a community of people, and it's like once you get around like-minded people, it was just fun to kind of watch everybody like come up with new ways to do things, and it's like the shortcuts to everything. And
I think that camming is one of the most creative outlets in sex work that you can really have.
Yeah.
You know, stripping, you kind of have to dance and do the same thing. You're up on stage, do pole work.
Yeah, it's like regardless of how creative you get, it's like okay, from this slot to this slot, you're up there, and then you're somewhere else.
Yeah, and you can't really do a whole lot. Like not a lot of strip clubs. I know girls who are like fire poi girls can't really do that in strip clubs. Fire poi, where they like flip. They have like fire ends of rope, and they like.
And they do that on cam.
I know one girl who does fire poi on cam. I know girls who do aerial on cam.
Yeah.
They're able to do creative stuff. I'm weird. I like to do workouts on cam. Can't really do that at strip club.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that doesn't fit. Because what is it? It's like a song or two. You're on.
Yeah, you're on at my club. You're on for 3 songs, and then you like gotta get off and go mingle.
It'd be fun. It'd be funny. Yeah, somebody just came out and did push-ups. The crowd would be like, "What
there
is going on?"
There is a girl who does push-ups
That's all
at
she
my
does.
club. She does. Well, it's not all she does,
Right.
but she does. She's super strong. She actually does push-ups, and she'll put her leg behind her head and do the splits while she does push-ups.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
it's like she does really impressive stuff to make you like want to tip her.
Yeah,
more.
that's like a hot Subway move for like a dancer.
Yeah.
Like that's where I've seen that is like the busking. That's cool. That's really cool. What was I was trying to. There's another thing I wanted to connect to on that whole deal. Is like this. I don't know. There is something now, especially with what we've turned social media into. It's like this connection is almost. It's sometimes it feels deeper than meeting people in the real world. It's like you're always in constant contact with people.
I think it's so nice because I have one of my best friends in the camming world. She lives in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. I live in Oklahoma where there's not a camming community.
Yeah.
There's not. I think I've met one other girl who cams in Oklahoma.
Nice.
And even the strip club community, it's wonderful, but like once you go outside your strip club, there's nobody.
Right.
And it becomes very isolating in states like that where sex work isn't huge. I'm sure in New York City there's a big camming community, Las Vegas, Miami. So social media, it does make me feel like people are more than like my friends in the real world because my friends in the real world don't really understand the weird things that have to do with camming, the struggles that we go through, being in a relationship and sex work. Like they don't understand any of that. So they just understand me, I guess, as a person.
Right.
They don't understand the struggles that I go through. So when I'm able to reach out to somebody either through Snapchat or through Twitter and get an immediate response and be able to be like, hey, I'm having a rough day. And they're like, hey, it's okay. We all have rough days. And they talk me through it. And they're able to give me advice or to, be able to be that shoulder that I need. It's just so amazing. Like that's why I really do love social media. I feel like such a millennial saying that. No, I do love it.
It makes the world feel so much smaller, in the best possible sense. It's like we were talking about because today's voting day. We were talking about the fact that because of Exxxotica and all those other things, like everybody's mobile all the time now. Mm-hmm. So it's like this thing where we have to be somewhere. It's like we've removed that almost, except for voting. So that was sort of the discussion, was that like the voting's the only thing that you like have to be into, and now you don't. Now you can do absentee, you can do early vote, all these things. So it's like that was sort of the only thing left with social media that you had to be in town to do, or like have it's like people don't even have homes anymore. It's like you can literally just travel wherever, like, and never have an actual, like, where are you based? Oh, I don't know.
I'm just kind of based where I want to be right now.
Okay, so you don't have an Oklahoma accent. You don't have a thing, right? Did you grow up in Oklahoma?
I grew up sort of in Oklahoma. I was born in London.
No shit.
Moved here when I was about 9. We lived in Spain. We lived in France.
Wow.
Did all that, the European life.
Yeah.
Moved here. And when I moved to Oklahoma, I'm Chinese. So I was a little Chinese girl with an English accent that spoke Catalan and French and Spanish.
Shit. Yeah.
So I was a freak.
Yeah.
So I just learned. I do say y'all. Y'all, I'll get in the
Yeah.
truck. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes you'll hear it, but when I travel, especially here in New York City, I'm kind of scared to have that like super southern.
No, they love it. No, that's the thing for sure. People come to New York and they go, New York's so cold and people are not friendly.
People are so nice here. They're
They
a lot
really
nicer
are.
than I thought.
They really are, because it's like, it's one of these things. It's like, what's nice about New York is that people are happy to, like, if something's going on, they'll address it in that moment. And then what's great about New York is like, they don't, when you're in other places, when you talk to somebody for like an hour or so, that person wants to try to pretend that they're going to be your friend forever. In New York, we go, I'm never going to see you again. So it's like it's an hour interaction and that's it, or it's like a 5-second interaction and that's it, and that's fine, and people get that. But like, people in New York just love a lot of people in New York. They don't go anywhere. They don't get out of here. So it's like when they meet somebody with any other background, they get super excited.
They're like, oh my God, hi, you're from someplace else.
Right.
That's how it is in Oklahoma. A lot of people, like I have kids who I went to high school with who never plan on leaving the city that we grew up in.
Yes.
And so like, my mom's from England. My dad's from New York City, actually. He was born in Harlem. So people are just, when they walk around, they're like fascinated. Like, oh my God, where are you from?
Yeah.
They're so different.
They're like touching your face. Like, what is this? What are you? No, I mean, I think that's kind of. Well, I think we all vaguely, and on some level, want everything to just sort of mix together to just kind of see where it all ends up. And then when you get to the middle of the country and stuff, it's like people get stuck in their thing. And I think there's still a lot of like be with your kind of people in the middle of the country, whether it's religion, whether it's race, whether it's
very much.
It's
so.
like, and it's like.
I think my mom had to deal with that a lot. When she had me, she would be walking around and little Asian baby, my mother's blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Okay, so she's not Asian.
No.
So your father's Asian.
Yes, I have a very different family. Most people don't ever see like an Asian man and a white woman, and I love that. I love that I did my research. It is the smallest minority couple. Like there are no Asian men and white women. There are a lot of like white,
that makes sense.
Like Asian women and white men.
Yeah, right.
And every other like interracial couple, there's a lot of, but like that's the smallest.
Interesting.
Amount.
Yeah.
But my mom would walk around with me and they'd be like, "Oh, where'd you get your baby?" And she'd just kind of look at them and be like, "My vagina. Where did you get your baby from?" Like,
yeah. I was a mail away thing.
Yeah.
I got her. It was a great deal.
And we adopted kids. So like I have an African American brother. I have 3 actually, and I have white siblings. I have mixed siblings.
Wait, how many kids in the house?
We have biologically, I have 5 siblings.
Wow.
But we adopted 25 kids in total.
What?
Yeah. So
hold on. This should have been where we started. You have 30 siblings.
Yes.
I've never even had a conversation that started with that blueprint. How does that work, and what is that like?
So my parents, they met. My father had 3 children. My mother had 2.
Here's a story.
They
about a family. Okay.
They had me. While they were dating and everything, my siblings had friends that would come over. And usually they had bad relationship with the parents, no relationship with their parents.
Sure.
My parents would just take them in.
No shit.
My sister's best friend at 15 was sleeping in a car out on the lake. So my dad was like, "No, you're not. You're living with us now."
Wow. How are they meeting all these? Not that it's like it's a little out of the ordinary to have friends, many friends who are in bad situations. Yeah.
I think that my family's always been very, I guess, positive, very loving. I still have a great relationship with my family. We see each other once a week. So I think when you exude that positive energy and that love, I really believe this, when you exude that positive energy and that love out into the world and that willingness to help, people who need it will come to you.
Okay.
It's like a moth to light. When you are that light in your school, in your community, people who need you will be drawn to you. Yes.
Interesting.
So one of my other sisters, her best friend, her stepdad used to hit her. And my parents would like, so we came over. My family still had a house here. We came over for about a year when I was itty bitty baby.
Yep.
And my sister's best friend, her stepdad hit her. She ran 3 miles barefoot to come to our house.
Wow.
The police were called. My mother's a teacher, so they, of course, if they were caught with a runaway child, my mother would have lost her teaching license.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a felony to harbor a fugitive. And when you're marked as a runaway child, you're a fugitive.
Oh, I didn't realize. That's crazy. And
So
why? Okay, I see. Okay.
The cops were knocking on the front door, and my parents tell me this story all the time. The cops were knocking on the front door, and they were climbing over the back fence with 8 kids and me. And like my mom was holding me climbing over the fence to protect these kids that need it, that, you know, don't have another home. I remember I was 9, and my brother's best friend, he was my best friend. He became my brother. Like I didn't see him any differently.
Yeah.
I don't want to say his name, but he's ginormous. Very tall African American boy, about 6'8".
Yeah.
And my dad's a very short Asian man, so like he was the tallest man that I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. It's still a lot of people. Like if I met LeBron, it's a huge person.
Yeah. And I remember meeting him. He would come over to my house all the time, and I'd just be like, wow. And one day, about 3:00 in the morning, doorbell rang. My dad's a Marine, so he answered with a gun, you know, worried about what's going on. The front porch light was broken, and he was about 15 at the time.
Yeah.
Standing on our front porch with 4 bags of clothes from Walmart. Like they weren't from Walmart, but they were in little Walmart bags. And his mom was in the car, and she just looked at my dad from the car in the street and said, "My boyfriend doesn't want him at the apartment anymore," and drove off.
Wow.
He's never seen his mom since then.
Wow.
And what do you do when a 15-year-old boy gets dropped off at your front porch?
Right.
Take him in. So I woke up in the morning, and Donnell was sleeping on our couch, and I remember just looking at my parents, and I was like, is he staying here? And my parents were like, he lives here now. It was just very matter of fact. It was just a very like, yes. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So until I was about 11, I didn't understand that other people didn't have like, I lived in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
People stick with their own people.
Right.
So there weren't a lot of families that were super mixed race. So I didn't understand that like having an African American brother and having a Hispanic sister and having an Asian dad and a white mom and a white sister was very weird.
It was out of the ordinary.
So I'd be like, "This is my brother," and they would be like, "Is he really?"
But what is he? What is he really?
And I'd be like, "No, but this is my brother.
Yeah.
Like, this is just." It was very normal to me.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. The only thing I have as a comparison is this thing that we did as Italians, which is we just called everybody aunt and uncle. As kids, if we would meet the friends, that's just Uncle Dave, and this is Aunt, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it was just like, just suck everybody into your family. It's all family. But yeah, it's like, especially in Oklahoma, and just sort of like, I don't know. Let's say Oklahoma is a fair amount just white people.
Yes.
And they don't there's that whole bring everybody in and just make it one big happy thing is not. I don't know. It's not. I don't know where or why. It's any particularly ethnic thing to do. I don't know. It's Italians, Greeks, black people. It's like that's just a thing. Everybody's family. Come on in. I don't know why.
I feel like I don't know, like that. I never understood. My parents always wanted to be that family growing up where like everybody all the kids went to their house, and they just ended up having all the kids live at their house.
So wait, how many people in a building did you grow up with?
I grew up with anywhere from probably about 7 to, I think at the most we had, because I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
So
people were up and gone by the time.
I think the most we had was about 13 kids.
That's
13,
crazy.
Like people living in the house, including my parents. Yeah.
That's got to be a total. So I look at my life and things that I do and the way that I communicate a lot through how things happen in my house. So it was me and my little sister, or me and my older sister first, and then that was a contentious relationship the whole time. And then we had my little sister, and then my little brother, and it's like I can feel like the way we interact as people change over those periods of time. So it's like growing up with that. You just came into there's all these people, and we have to coexist.
Yes, and I think it's taught me. I like to say I'm a very social creature.
Yeah.
I never knew strangers because strangers would come to my house and then they would live with us.
Yeah.
So it was just very like. That's why like New York scared me when I came here because everybody's my friend. I'm like, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, who the fuck is this bitch?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like for New York, it is just sort of like this body language thing, because what happens, your first step in New York is you go, I'm gonna shut it off, and I'm just gonna go. I gotta get from my thing to my thing, because crazy shit happening in New York all the time. So it's like you can't. The thing is, you can't be so open that like, because what happens is there's lots of people that are like trying to either ask for money or like scam you or whatever. It's like it's around. And I think as New Yorkers, we just think everybody who needs help is trying to scam us, because that's just kind of what it's become. So the first step is, I'm leaving the house. Let me shut it off so that I can just get to my thing. And something weird's going to happen here and something weird's going to happen here, and just shut it off. But then eventually throughout the day, it's like, yeah, we would like, we want to interact and we want to be part of the thing. But it's like, yeah, if like you just come out of your door and then there's like hey, it's like, what? No, I can't. Why? Why? Can you see me? I don't understand. Like, I just want to get to my place.
I was in Miami. I learned this very quickly when I was in Miami, because I lived in Deerfield for about 4 months, and I just thought everybody was super friendly to me. I didn't realize that I was kind of like forcing that interaction onto people. And in Oklahoma, they say everybody is your friend. Like, nobody's a stranger. You can literally drive down the street on the highway, wave at people, and they'll wave at you back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you sit in the line at the grocery store and joke and talk, and then you're like, okay, see you later. And then you're going to see them,
I'm trying to think
at the same grocery store in 2 weeks.
I'm trying to think if I had that experience. I made a lot of good friends in Oklahoma, but I never viewed it in that thing, because I go to Oklahoma at least once a year. And my good friend Trace Thomas, super talented photographer, I met him there, and I flew him out to like photograph like this week-long bunch of events that we had, the Hoboken Comedy Festival. So, but I didn't notice Oklahoma any different than any other place. So I gotta like pay attention to that next time.
You gotta watch. I think the interactions between Oklahomans are we're just a really friendly state.
Yeah.
A lot of people like. I moved back to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I moved back just because the people are so nice.
Yeah. I know. Are you in OKC, or are you?
I am in OKC.
Because I feel like Oklahoma City is starting to have a particular kind of experience, whereas when I was staying in Edmonton, is that the one?
Edmond,
yeah. Edmonton is in when I was in
that's where I grew up. I grew up in Edmond.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah. So Edmond and Norman, those feel more like maybe what you're talking about.
So Edmond was voted the number one suburb in the country like 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's very like bougie white people, like you say like if you're in OKC and you're like I grew up in Edmond, they're like, oh we know you're you're like we know what kind of girl you are. Right. Norman is a college town. They've got OU down there, so it's very like it's a very community type place. You're probably an OU fan. You probably watch the games. Yeah. Probably go out to the same bar to watch the damn games.
Right. Yeah. And there's like that there's like sort of like a square of where the bars and like the cool spots
are. You got Campus Corner, and that's pretty much it. But Oklahoma City is a little bit bigger, but when you go outside of like downtown, so there's like the Paseo district, there's the Plaza, they've got North Side, South Side. When you go to these different neighborhoods, it's the same way. Like everybody's your friend and your neighbor. There was a guy, my SUV died, and I drive a 9-seater SUV. I drive the biggest thing that you could ever find in the world.
Which one's the 9-seater?
It's a 2002 Ford Expedition.
Okay.
I literally drive a boat.
Yeah. Wait, so how do you get 9? Is the front a bench?
Yes.
So you can put 3 on the front.
Yes, three in the middle, 3 on the back.
3 in the back. Oh, that's crazy.
And big cars are just a thing in Oklahoma.
Yeah, sure.
But all the time I'm like, oh my God, I can't park. I can't reverse my SUV.
You can't parallel park.
No, I can't parallel park. I can't even like back up into the parking spot. So like sometimes I'll just get out and I'm like, oh, and I'll go up to somebody. Can you like park my SUV? And they're like, yeah, sure. They go park it. They're like, turn your lights off for you. Here's your like I'll leave my phone in there. They'll be like, here's your phone. Here's your wallet.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very Oklahoma. You know, you hear places all the time where it's like, I don't have to lock my doors.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's going to be crime, but like a lot of smaller towns in Oklahoma, people still don't lock their doors.
Yeah.
They still like, it's the same people that you've grown up with your whole life. Like when I go back to Edmond, my parents still live there, so when I go back there, like I see the same kids that I grew up in high school with.
Yeah.
Like the same person in the grocery store that's been there since I was 16.
This is like clicking in a thing for me that like so there's a personality trait that my father has that where every time something happens to somebody in our family, he's immediately like this conspiracy theory guy. He's like, well, who did you piss off? And I'm just realizing now it's like, because he grew up in that kind of thing where it's like, he grew up in a neighborhood that was everybody knew everybody. So if somebody robbed you,
you knew it was somebody, you fucked somebody over.
Or somebody hated you because you took their girl. It's like if your house got broken into, you knew it was like one of four people. And I grew up in a different environment where it's like, crime seems so random to me. So when something happens, like I got my car keyed on like New Year's Eve one year, and I was like, Dad, it was New Year's Eve. Somebody was fucking around. You know what I mean? And he's like, no. And I'm in Hoboken. It's like, it's, you know, so many people. And he's like, no, you pissed somebody off. And it's like, no. So that's the element that I failed to understand of how my father grew up. It's like, yeah, these communities are like important. And it's like, and you're a person in the community, and people know you, and it's like, and they respect the fact that they don't want chaos in their place.
To put it into perspective, last voting session, there was this girl who, my parents live in a pretty nice neighborhood. I walked out and she was stealing like the voting signs. My mother's very political.
Oh, okay.
She's she's a teacher. She's like president of the teachers union, very, very, very active.
Yeah, she was stealing specific voting signs. Whoever she didn't want. Yeah,
she was like, she grabbed it. I remember walking outside and she was like, say no to weed, because we were trying to legalize medical marijuana in Oklahoma. And I was just like 16-year-old girl, and like I ran over. My first instinct, I lived in Houston. I've lived in Deerfield. I've lived outside of Oklahoma. Yeah. So I was like, hell no, bitch. So I ran over, yanked it from her hands, and she was like, oh no, don't hit me. Well, of course, my brother, he's a little bit more, I like to say, hardened like me.
Yeah.
So he hops over the fence, gets in his car, follows these people to their house. And like I lectured her dad. I was like, you need to know that your daughter could have gotten shot because we're at Standard Ground State. So like I could have easily shot her for being on my property, and like that would have been completely legal.
Right.
And like I lectured him, and she was like 16, so she's like, but you know, hiding behind her dad. Well, guess who's in my mom's class this year?
Oh, hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, so it's like, your reputation follows you around.
Yeah. And
so I didn't get that as much. Cause
my mom's able to be like, she went up to all the teachers that she knew that she had. Mm-hmm. She was like, by the way, she'll steal your voting signs.
Oh, that's funny. I like how she's gonna. It's the vendetta against her now. That's fun. Yeah, that's crazy. Where was that? What was my thought process on that? I had a bullet I wanted to address. I don't know. So, the 13 people in a house is a totally different and crazy experience. Do you live with lots of people now, or you're finally solo?
I lived by myself for a while.
Yeah.
But that was really, like I said, I'm a social creature. I lived with people my whole entire life. So when I would go home and there's nobody but my dog,
isn't it weird?
I got weird. I'll admit this 110%. So like my dog is my best friend.
Yeah.
I have a blue nose pit bull. Her name's Athena.
I can relate to this.
She is the cutest thing in the world.
Let me show you mine real quick, but carry on.
And she ended up like.
That's mine.
Oh.
And she's like travel size. I don't know how it happened, but she's got all big brothers and sisters and mom. She ended up being 35, 37 pounds. She's perfect size.
I call her travel size, but she's like 60 pounds.
Yeah.
But she's
a bowling ball.
Yeah, she's a Staffordshire Terrier. She's big, bulky. But when you live with only your dog for a while, you start to get very weird.
Yeah.
I cook. I love cooking. So I would cook for myself. Well, of course, it's really hard to cook for just one person. You have a lot of leftovers.
Right. So my move for that for a while was I would cook way too much, and then I would just eat it all, and then be wildly sick. But so I didn't. No. It took me a while to like figure out that like, oh yeah, cooking for one person sucks.
I cooked half for me and
Yeah.
half for
That's
her.
great.
So like dogs can't eat garlic, so I'd like
Yeah.
reduce the garlic and stuff like
Thank
that.
you. Avocado, garlic,
The
onion, like
grapes are a
grapes
real
are
thing.
poison. My dog almost died
Yes.
from eating grapes. Yeah.
And so I like looked
Don't
up what
give
they
your
can't
dogs
have.
people food, guys.
It's I mean I give my dogs people. Give
Well,
your dogs the right people.
I basically
food.
eat. Yeah, I eat what keeps it. What would keep us both alive.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
I was eating like steak and carrots.
Yeah.
If I ate noodles with like a lot of garlic, I would even like cook different sauces for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Because
Sweet
like
potatoes. Yeah.
so we would like sit at the table together. This is gonna make me sound like a crazy person. I would sit at the
No, I
table
love
with
it.
her. She would sit with me and eat off of the plate.
Yeah.
And we would be like across from
Yeah.
each other. And
Dog doesn't care. Dog will do like dog will match you wherever you're at. Your dog will
yeah,
match you.
she's like, okay, cool. Like I like to get my nails painted. She would wait and like let me paint her
Yeah.
nails. Her favorite color is pink.
One of my favorite things is there was this video, 2 dogs, I think they're golden retrievers, and one of the dogs has an ear infection or something. So the one dog goes up. They're both 2 dogs waiting, and the guy goes, "Okay, come on." The first dog comes up and he puts the drops in the first dog's ear.
Yeah.
And then the second dog doesn't have an ear infection, but
But
it's
still
waiting
wants
in
the
line.
drops,
Right,
yeah.
and then gets in, so then he fakes the drops in the second dog's ear.
It's just I love how dogs are just like they're down to do anything.
Right.
They're like, what are we doing today? Awesome. And so like I didn't realize how weird this was. I did this for about I want to say like 3 months.
Yeah.
And my best friend was living in Houston at the time, and she walks in. She had a key to my house. She walked in. We're dressed up because I didn't go on dates. I was like so incredibly single that it wasn't even funny anymore.
So now this is the territory where it starts to get in.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I'm gonna seem like a freak. So she's like, she had her nails painted. She had like her nice collar on, and I'm in like
Yeah.
a dress, and we're like eating dinner
Yeah.
across from each
hey,
other.
what's going on?
And she walks in, and she was like, "This has got to stop. You have to move in with somebody. This is just really sad." She was like,
Yeah.
"Are you socializing with people outside of the house?"
Right.
And I was like, I didn't know how to explain. She
Yeah.
was like, "You need to go on a date,
Yeah.
like tomorrow." She was like, "This is getting scary."
Yeah, that's fun. I had the thing where I moved in with a bunch of people in college, so now I got 4 roommates, and that became fun. And it's just like, but then I would have those days where it's like there was the excitement of coming home is that like, oh, there's like a bunch of people I can talk to and something. And so then I'd come home like on like a Friday after doing something, and like early, it's like before we're gonna go out, and I know we're all going to this thing, but I'd come back and I get in the house and there's of 4 people, nobody's there. I just remember that being the weirdest and
When
like
nobody's at the
saddest
house,
and lonely,
yeah.
because you come home thinking it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then nobody's there. Yeah, it's like a thing, and then it also like makes you paranoid when there'd be those weird weekends. So me and one of the roommates, we were going to college in the town that we lived. So he would go home for holidays, and the other 2 guys would go home.
Yeah.
But I would chill. I would just stay there because it was like better than like staying at my folks' place. And but it was just this weird eerie, and I would get like paranoid and scared all the time because it's like because when you're used to there's always being sounds and always shit and
you're
clunking
like,
and
what
stuff.
the-
Now when there's now silence is like, especially now living in New York. When I get to silence, I freak out a little bit. It's like silence.
I don't know. I live with my sister who's closest to me, and another one of our roommates, and it was like it's the weirdest. We did have 4 people living in our house at one time, which was like insane because we only have 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And we have a tiny house, so like she was living in the living room, and like it was nuts.
Did you like section it off?
Yeah,
Did she
we
get
have
privacy?
2 living rooms, so we like used curtains and
Yeah.
we sectioned it off, which was like fine until she had like a guest over, and then we
Yeah.
were like, shit.
We can hear you getting fingered.
Yeah, I would be like, she would like be getting pounded in the mattress, and I'm like, I just need water. And, like, yeah, and so I'm like,
yeah,
like
you
I
got-
would like go through the
You
other
gotta,
roommates.
yeah, you got to put your New York shit on. That's what I mean. In New York, if you're walking, you're going to work. If somebody's getting banged out on the sidewalk,
You
you don't
just
even.
gotta,
Yeah,
like-
you're like, welcome to New York. And you just like go. You got to put them on.
So like, but my roommates are homebodies. So one of them works 2 jobs. The other one, my sister, she's lovely, but she stays at home most of the time. So I'm always the only time that I'm like by myself is when I wake up because we have opposite schedules.
Yeah.
So they have like normal people time.
Right.
And I go to bed at like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So I wake
Which
up at
works
like
out
3
great for
p.m.
you. When I
Yeah.
had a roommate who had the same schedule as me, then I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
Because then you have to shower and you have to
Right.
like, you know,
It's
when
just
you gotta
a lot.
poop, there's like
Yeah.
one bathroom
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah, I like having the opposite schedule works in my favor for having a regular person roommate, because then it's like, yeah, we can see each other in the fun, like we're all prepared moments.
Yeah.
And then the other shit is like, yeah, wake up and go straight. You know, it's like sometimes you did the wrong thing, and then you wake up in an emergency situation.
You're like, oh fuck.
You need that bathroom for one of a couple different opportunities. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
But it's just, I don't know. So for me, like, I live with 2 other people now, and I love living with roommates. Now, like, I can leave my dog, and I don't have to, like, transfer her to my parents' house and be like, can you watch her for, like, a week? I'm like, hey, we have 2 cats and a dog. And I'm like, can I just leave her here? And
yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, and then they just FaceTime me. I FaceTimed my sister yesterday. My dad collects M&M dispensers, so I went to M&M World, and I bought, like, every type of dispenser that he didn't have.
I didn't even know that this was a thing. There are multiple, like, M&M, like, do they start, like, so where's the starting process? Make it look like a gumball machine?
Sort of, yeah, but they're different. So a lot of them have like the M&M guy on them.
Yeah.
He's been collecting them. He has like ones from the 1990s.
So what are can we see some? I just want to know what the mechanism of like letting the M&Ms come out is.
These ones are kind of lame because I bought him all the cool ones before this.
No, bring them out. Especially since we have the YouTube opportunity. Let's do it. I don't know, and then I'll hit up M&M when we get all kinds of views and be like, yo, you need to be sponsoring us.
Yeah.
Send me all blue M&Ms. Okay, let's see. So this is a blue M&M. I'll show the camera. Okay, and then so what happens? So you push it in the chest basically, and then it opens, and then what? The whole thing is just a tray.
Yeah. So. Like, you push it, and then the M&Ms come out here, and then you actually load them in the back.
Nice.
So there's, like, just totally different ways that you can do it.
Yeah.
All the other dispensers, like...
Oh, this one's cool.
This one's really cool. It's like a zigzag, so you, like, take it...
Yeah, what do they call this?
Plinko. It's like Plinko, but,
yeah. It's or like, it basically looks like an ant farm.
Yeah.
And then, so you do on the top, and then you spin it down. If you guys play video, those video games, it's like the one where
the coin drops all the way down.
Yeah, and you just gotta try to get it to the end. So they're all sort of like
these ones are, I told you, these ones are cool, but they're kind of lame. This one's like it's like a funnel, so you like press the top and they like come
Oh, that's
out
really
the
cool.
Bottom,
that's so
and
many.
It's got like a tray. I feel like this one you'd like get a lot of M&Ms. So this is the one
right.
where you're like I want like a handful and a half.
And you gotta stick your hand in it. But so the problem I feel like with this collection is that you're gonna eat a shit ton of M&Ms.
That's usually what happens. So my dad collected them, and what's funny is he doesn't eat M&Ms a whole lot.
At all.
No, he's not really like a sweets person, but he would have them like in his office. So he'd be the M&M guy. Like people would walk into his office.
Because M&Ms probably don't go stale at all.
No, so he would have like peanut and like peanut butter. Like he's got like the crispy raspberry. Like
What's crispy raspberry?
They're like the crispy M&Ms.
Yeah.
They're like raspberry flavored.
What?
You never think about stuff like this.
Killing it.
Like how many different M&Ms they are until your dad collects them, and they've got like white chocolate candy corn and like pumpkin spice, and you're like, what the fuck? But it was just I don't know. So I went to M&M World, and I was on the FaceTime with my sister, and she shows me my dog, and I'm in M&M store, and I'm like, baby, you know, like, hi, baby. And she's just like, mommy's trapped in a little square.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen, like, my parents are doing this too. The first time they ever took my dog, I can't remember which trip I was on, but I was going to be going for a little bit, and they were trying to do this